Hey everyone, welcome back to YMPtv. I'm your host Kaylee, and in today's episode, we have a whole bunch of stuff planned out for you to enjoy. Today, we get to go behind the band with Jack, we get to hang out with Wren, and we get a little jazzy with Abby. If you have any feedback, feel free to comment down below, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode of YMPtv. So what are we waiting for? Let's get right into it.
Today in Behind the Band, we're going to dive in deep and take a look behind the scenes at one of the most influential and successful alternative rock bands of all time, Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters were founded by Dave Grohl in 1994 in Seattle, Washington. At the time, Grohl was more famously known for his role as the drummer in the highly successful grunge band, Nirvana. While he was playing with Nirvana, Grohl would occasionally book studio time to experiment with his own demos and covers under the solo name Late. After the end of Nirvana in 1994, Grohl took some time to decide the next step in his music career. It was later that year when he decided to form a band. He met with bassist Nate Mundell, drummer William Goldsmith, and guitarist Pat Smear to form a new group. They called the band Foo Fighters, which comes from a secret force of World War II fighter pilots who reportedly studied UFOs. In an interview with Clash magazine, Grohl noted that he would have named the band something else if he thought that they were going to be successful. He thought that the name Foo Fighters was one of the stupidest names ever. 1995 saw the release of their debut self-titled album, which featured the hits This Is a Call and I'll Stick Around. On the studio recording, Grohl played all of the instruments and did the vocals. However, when it came to touring, he needed his bandmates for the live shows. The album was a massive success, remaining the second best-selling album in their discography. After touring through the spring of 1996, the band set to record their next album. It was at this time that Goldsmith left the band when Grohl re-recorded all of the drum tracks sent in by Goldsmith. Taylor Hawkins of Alanis Morissette fame would soon replace Goldsmith for their band's 1997 album, The Color and the Shape. It became Foo Fighters' most successful album to date, selling over 2 million copies in the US. Monkey Wrench, Everlong, and My Hero would become the defining singles from that album, with Everlong being certified double platinum. Interestingly, Dave Grohl had this to say about Everlong with its iconic riff. Quote, "I was never taught how to play the guitar. I don't know what the chords to Everlong are. I only know what happens when I put the fingers there." End quote. For someone who doesn't know how to play guitar, he certainly can shred. In November of 1999, Foo Fighters released the album There Is Nothing Left to Lose, which contained the smash Learn to Fly, one of their most well-known songs. In 2015, a group of 1,000 musicians got together in Cesena, Italy, to play Learn to Fly in a YouTube video, hoping that the band would come play in their city. It worked! The video went viral, and Foo Fighters agreed to play a concert in their city. How's that for an invite? The 2000s brought changes in band members, including the departure of Smear. It was also during that time that Grohl formed a supergroup called Them Crooked Vultures, which included Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age and John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin. Foo Fighters released their 9th studio album, Concrete and Gold, in 2017, and toured extensively in 2017 and 18. They began working on their next album titled Medicine at Midnight, which was released in early 2021. To this day, Dave Grohl and company still sell out huge shows across the world and continue to create new music. So remember kids, even if you don't know how to play the guitar and think your band name is dumb, keep it. The music is what ties it all together. Thanks for joining me. This is Ethan with my last Behind the Band. And thanks for your support of this series. And continue watching with your new host, Jack, coming to YMPtv very soon.
over to the next segment, Wren will be interviewing a member from a Portland-based band. The Grammy-nominated band calls themselves the Decemberists. Today, Wren sits down with band member Chris Funk to learn more about the band. Now to hanging out with Wren.
So great to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to start with a question I love to ask is, how did you get into music?
Wow. How did I get into music? I got into music through my parents. They were both really enthusiastic with the idea of music. My father was a singer. My mother played piano, and they didn't put out records or anything like that. They sang in church. So I grew up going to like church choir rehearsals, and I knew from an early age. I have an older sister. She's actually 12 years older than me. She was in my high school band program in my hometown, and they were like, I just watched her practice, and I watched them push her to practice. And then because I was so much younger, it was like always around high school band, like always all these events, all these weekend trips. And my parents were like band parents, what they call it. So they do like fundraising and that kind of stuff. So it was like, that would be like, if my parents were into sports, right? We were like a band family, right?
Got it.
So I knew from an early age that I would most likely be challenged to take a path of academia with music, and i.e. join my high school band, which I did. And I played in high school band all through my senior year. So I was just a total band nerd, as they say. And I say that with great admiration because I am one. And I got involved in jazz band. I got involved in symphonic band. I ended up playing guitar in jazz band as well. And yeah, it was really through my parents pushing me to do it.
So you are part of a band called the Decemberists.
I am.
Do you think you could tell me a little bit about how your band was formed and about maybe how you guys got your name?
Yeah, totally.
About that.
Yeah, sure. We formed right here in Portland, Oregon, from where I sit. And I'd say we formed through the vibrant music community of Portland, which remains this day. Our band's been a band for, I think, 22 years now. And back then, back in the old days of Portland, which is not that long ago, but somewhat long ago, it was a less expensive place to live than it is now. And there was just a lot of music here, a lot of people moving here, I felt like, myself included, to sort of be a part of this abstract music scene. And it wasn't really known as a music city at that time, as much as it is now, or if it is now, I have no idea. But Seattle was like the big scene. This is like the era of Nirvana and all these grunge bands happening. So Portland really hadn't made a claim to fame for anything yet, with no disrespect to some people that have lived here before me and had some successes. And our singer Colin Malloy moved from Missoula, Montana here because he had heard that Portland was a music city. And he basically found all the musicians that are in the band. So myself, because I played pedal steel guitar, which is this sort of like country style guitar. And then Jenny, our accordion player, he really wanted an accordion because he sort of had this like idea of like it being kind of French music. So combining that with the pedal steel, an upright bass player, which is our friend Nate. And then we've had some, not that many, but a few different drummers. So yeah, kind of like this weird folk band, which you see a lot now. But at the time, we were kind of an anomaly here. I'm not saying we're the most original thing, but most of the bands at the time were playing kind of like heavy rock or what sort of became indie rock, And I think we're labeled that, but we always felt like the odd people out because of our instrumentation. We always joked that we kind of looked like this country western tango band or something, And yeah, we just started playing around Portland, playing places that are still here, like the White Eagle, like the Edgefield. We played like, if you've ever been to Edgefield and you walk to get a massage or something by that spa, they had like a band playing there, like people walking past us in our robes, and that was like the money to fund our first record by playing the Stairway there.
Oh, that's so cool.
And all these different venues that are around and just playing in the local scene. And finally, there was a label called Hush Records, which is still in Portland, and they signed us to a deal. And then eventually another label called Kill Rock Stars, which were a very, and still are, kind of lauded label in the Pacific Northwest, signed us, and we were like really over the moon. And that gave us kind of the courage to go out and tour, and eventually wind up signing with Capitol Record. And then the name came from, there's a bar on Grand Avenue. I don't know what they call it now, but it used to be called the Rabbit Hole. And I think the band was playing for the first time and it needed a name. So it was going to be called the December Brides. And somebody at the table was like, that sounds ridiculous. So we said, okay, the Decemberists, and spelled it. Colin's a fan of Russian, I don't know what you call it, like a Francophile, like a Russian file. He's a communist. I'm kidding. He really enjoyed all things Russian at the time, and Russian literature. And he knew of the Decemberists, which were a Russian revolutionary group. It was like a band of musicians, right? So like this merry band of musicians that are kind of prominent in Russian history. So that's where the spelling comes from, but it's sort of like blended with the one. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for anyone wanting to pursue a career in music?
Yeah, there's lots of advice. You mean like as a performer?
Yeah.
Or like playing music? Yeah, playing music. I think my advice is, to enjoy it and not be consumed with going on the road and, or getting on stage and, because there's a lot of luck and there's a lot you can't control. So enjoy the parts you can control, right? So you want to write a song, you just write the song. You did it. You're successful, right? You want to get better on your instrument, you practice. And really to view it, I think, still as an art form, because it gets really it's easy to get seduced by the fact that there is a lot of money and there's a lot of media that goes with it and a lot of fame. And those things are always fleeting, So those are the things you can't control. So enjoy the things you can control, which are getting together in someone's basement and playing music, or playing with your high school band, or just getting together and writing songs with friends in a park. Like that stuff will never, ever let you down. And that's what most likely, if you start doing this, that's what eventually you identify with as really satisfying. I think what we all identify with at the beginning is like, you have this visceral reaction to this art form. Like you hear a song, you're like, I don't know what it's doing to me, but it's possessed me, right? In this cool way.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Those are all the questions that I have.
Awesome. Thanks for asking me to do it. This is really cool.
As always, we have a Spotify playlist made up of all of our favorite songs. So if you want to go check it out, head over to Spotify and in the search bar type YMPtv to see what we've been loving recently.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Retro Music Video segment. I'm Abby, and today we're going to be talking about Avril Lavigne. She is a singer and songwriter, and she practically invented the punk pop genre. By the time she was just 16, she signed a 2-album recording contract with Arista Records. She even started a fashion line and did some acting. Her first album, Let Go, was credited as the best pop debut album of 2002 and was certified 7 times platinum in the US. This album is considered one of the albums that helped change the pop punk scene because it helped bring that type of music into the mainstream and contributed to the rise of female-fronted pop punk bands. Complicated, which is the song that I'm covering right now, was nominated for 2 Grammy Awards for Song of the Year and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Avril actually worked with the Matrix production team and created 2 songs, including Complicated, that resulted in a major breakthrough in terms of Avril finding her own individual sound. And Complicated ended up being her debut single. Complicated starts with Avril Lavigne asking her bandmates if they want to crash the mall, and they respond with enthusiasm and skateboard there. This video features Avril going around the mall with her band and causing a little bit of havoc, and it's intercut with footage of Lavigne and the band performing the song at a skate park. This video was shot in 2 days at Eagle Rock Plaza in Los Angeles. Avril Lavigne stole our hearts in 2002 and has continued to do so over the course of many years. She has the cool punk style that many people have aspired to have, with her loose ties and studded bracelets and baggy pants. But most importantly, she had some very iconic and inspiring songs, and she still continues to inspire us. Thank you, Avril. You're the best.
Strangers to love, you know the rules, and so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna show you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up.
As we close off, I want to give a big thanks to everybody who participated in this episode, and I hope that everybody watching has enjoyed. In the comments, feel free to suggest any artists or bands you would like to see next. Until next time, I'm Kaylee, and this is YMPtv.